I never thought my sister's venom could seep so deep into my veins that I'd wake up staring at her reflection in the mirror. Her perfect Botox-smooth skin stretched over my screaming soul. She'd blamed me for her crumbling marriage, pinned every shattered vow on my interference, and then torched my own happily ever after at the altar with a single, poison-laced accusation. But when a freak accident, or was it, swapped our bodies in that rain-slicked hospital room, I realized revenge wasn't just a dish best served cold. It was the only way to claw back the life she'd stolen. Even if it meant becoming the monster she always accused me of being. The rain hammered the stained-glass windows of St. Patrick's Cathedral like God's own judgment, turning the June wedding into a soggy farce before the vows were even spoken. I stood there in my lace Vera Wang, veil plastered to my cheeks, heart pounding as Emily, my big sister, my confidant, my goddamn betrayer, leaned into Mark's ear at the altar. Her crimson bridesmaid's dress clung like a second skin, and her voice carried just far enough for the front pews to catch it. "She's been sleeping with your brother for months."
Mark.
Ask her about the texts. I saw them myself. Gasps rippled through the crowd like a Mexican wave at a Mets game. Our family, our friends, the whole Upper East Side circus we'd invited to witness my fairy tale. Mark's face crumpled. That boyish grin I'd fallen for in our Columbia days, twisting into something feral. He didn't even look at me as he yanked off the ring I'd slipped on his finger that morning in the bridal suite. "Is it true, Diana?" His voice cracked, but the doubt was already a knife in my gut. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out except a strangled no, drowned by Emily's theatrical sob. She clutched her pearls, real ones, inherited from Mom, and wailed, "I couldn't let you walk into this lie."
Mark.
Diana's always been jealous. She ruined my marriage. Now she's trying to steal yours. Ruined her marriage? That was the hook she'd sunk into everyone since her divorce from Tom 2 years back. I'd been the scapegoat then, too, supposedly meddling by warning Tom about her affair with his boss. Lies. All of it. Emily had spun the narrative so tight. Even I started questioning my own memories. The priest cleared his throat, mumbling about unholy disruptions, but the damage was done. Guests bolted like rats from a sinking ship, umbrellas blooming in the downpour outside. My maid of honor, Sarah, grabbed my arm, whispering, "Fight this.
D.
She's full of shit." But Mark was already striding down the aisle, Emily trailing like a victorious shadow. I chased them into the vestibule, my heels skidding on marble, begging through the lump in my throat. "Emily."
Why?
"This is my day." She turned, rain dripping from her perfectly coiffed bob, eyes gleaming with that calculated pity she reserved for boardrooms and betrayals. At 35, Emily was the golden child, VP at Goldman Sachs. The one who'd clawed our family out of Dad's bankruptcy mess after he drank himself into an early grave.
Me?
Diana, the artistic little sister, 28 and scraping by as a freelance illustrator in Brooklyn. Always the afterthought. "Because you deserve to feel what I felt." "D," she hissed, low enough that only I heard. "Tom left me because of you. This is karma."
Karma.
The word echoed as I collapsed against a pillar, the cathedral's chill seeping into my bones. Sarah bundled me into a cab, the city blurring past in sheets of water, Times Square's neon mocking my soaked gown. Back in my tiny walk-up, I scrolled through the text she'd found. Forged. Every one. Photoshopped timestamps. My number spoofed to send flirty messages to Mark's brother,
Jake.
Emily had access to my phone. She'd borrowed it for wedding emergencies all week.
But why?
Our fights had always been sibling spats, over Mom's favoritism, over who got the bigger room in our childhood brownstone. This was scorched earth. That night, I drowned in Chardonnay and rage, vowing payback. But life, that cruel American dream chaser, had other plans. 2 days later, Emily called, her voice syrupy with false concern. Honey, we need to talk. Come to my place in Tribeca. Clear the air. I went, fueled by masochism and Merlot. Her loft was all exposed brick and Eames chairs, a testament to the power she'd wielded since Wharton. She poured me a scotch, neat, like Dad used to, and launched into her monologue, how my innocence had blinded Tom to her flaws, how I'd whispered doubts that snowballed into his exit. You think you're the victim? Try building a life, then watching it burn because your sister can't keep her mouth shut. I fired back, accusing her of the affair, the lies. She laughed a sharp, Wall Street bark. Proof. Or just her fairy tales? The argument escalated, glasses shattering against the herringbone floors. In a haze of fury, I lunged for her phone, where I'd seen her stash the forged texts. She shoved me hard. I tripped over her yoga mat, skull cracking against the marble coffee table. Blackness swallowed me, the last thing my blurred vision catching, Emily's face. Not panicked, but satisfied. I woke in a hospital bed, beeps and antiseptic sting assaulting my senses. Mount Sinai. Private room. Perks of Emily's insurance. No doubt. But something was off. My hands slender, manicured, not my callous-ridged artist's paws. I bolted upright, heart slamming, and stumbled to the mirror. Staring back was Emily's face, high cheekbones, that signature red lip, eyes wide with my own terror. What the fuck? My voice, her voice, echoed, husky and commanding. Nurses rushed in, cooing about concussion protocols and mess. Hargrove's miraculous recovery. Hargrove? Emily's married name. Still on the lease. Panic clawed my throat as I demanded my phone. Texts from me. Diana's number, apologizing profusely to the family, claiming cold feet on the wedding. Emily's spinning the narrative again. And then the doctor. Your sister, Diana.
She's
stable. But the coma. The brain trauma from the fall, it's unprecedented. Scans show neural patterns. Overlapping. Like echoes. Echoes. That's what they called it at first. Some quantum fluke. A body swap straight out of a bad sci-fi flick. Triggered by the blow and our genetic identical twin-adjacent DNA. Wait.
no.
We weren't twins, but close enough in build and features for the anomaly. Scientists later called it neural transference, a 1 in a billion glitch where consciousness leaped the gap during trauma. Emily's mind in my body. Mine and hers. The hospital kept it quiet. NDAs. Payouts from her deep pockets. But I knew this was an accident. Emily had pushed too hard. Aimed that shove. She'd known the table's edge was there. In her body, I was a ghost in a powerhouse suit. Her walk-in closet overflowed with Chanel and Louboutins, her calendar. A war zone of mergers and mistresses. I called in sick, migraine, classic Emily excuse, and hunkered down, plotting. Revenge wasn't smashing her Le Creuset or tanking her 401k.
No.
It had to be surgical, American style, dismantle her empire from the inside, make her watch her lies unravel in real time. First, access. Her phone unlocked with her fingerprint. Emails to Tom. Miss you.
Babe.
Dee's meddling cost us everything. Bullshit. I'd find the real dirt. Days blurred into a tense masquerade. I nailed her pitch at Goldman, adrenaline from my stolen life fueling the charm, and pocketed a bonus that bought silence from the few who side-eyed Emily's uncharacteristic warmth. But inside, I seethed. Nights, I'd stare at the ceiling fan whirring like a guillotine blade, replaying her altar whisper. She'd framed me for her divorce. Tom had discovered her embezzling client funds to fund her coke habit. Not my warnings. I'd covered for her once, taking the fall for a bounce check she forged my name on, sibling love. Or so I thought. That mistake haunted my credit for years, kept me from that loft in Williamsburg.
Now.
In her skin, I'd exhume it all. The family dinner was my opening salvo. Mom's brownstone on the Upper West Side. Sunday roast like we were still kids dodging Dad's rages. I arrived as Emily, air-kissing cheeks, but inside, Diana's fire burned. Mark was there, awkward, invited by Mom's meddling. Our eyes met, his narrowed, confusion flickering. You look different.
Eminência.
I smiled her shark smile. Good genes.
Marquis.
Or maybe it's the guilt lifting. Over lamb and merlot. I steered the talk to old wounds. Remember Tom's exit? Mom, how do you ruin it? Mom clucked, loyal to Emily's script. But I pressed, dropping crumbs. Funny, I found some old emails. Tom wasn't leaving because of her meddling. It was the affair with his boss. And the money, poof, gone.
Gasps.
Emily in my body, pale and withdrawn across the table, shot me a glare that could have curdled cream. What are you talking about? Her voice, my voice, trembled. Perfect victim. I leaned in, channeling her boardroom steel. Just clearing the air.
Sis.
Like you did at my wedding. The table froze. Mark's fork clattered. Mom's hand flew to her pearls. Diana, Emily, what is this? Emily stammered denials. But I had screenshots queued on my phone, accidentally shared to the group chat. Forged texts. Two could play. These were real. Pulled from Tom's bitter post-divorce dumps I'd sweet-talked out of him via Emily's contacts. By dessert, Emily fled to the bathroom, retching or faking it. I followed, locking the door. Feel that burn?
Deep.
I whispered, her face inches from mine in the mirror, my prison staring back.
This is what you did to me.
But I'm just getting started. Her eyes, my eyes, widened in feral recognition. You bitch. Give me my life back. I laughed, low and dark.
Sois pèse permanent, Doc said.
Neural fusion. So buckle up, little sister. Your throne's mine now. Wearing Emily's life was like slipping into a bespoke suit tailored for a killer, empowering, but itching with the ghosts of her sins. Morning started with her Peloton spin class in Tribeca, where I'd grit her perfect teeth through sprints, plotting mergers like battles. Afternoons bled into Goldman war rooms, where I'd outmaneuver VPs twice my age, her reputation as the Ice Queen, shielding my unpracticed bluffs. But the real high came at night, when I'd hack her cloud, passwords child's play for a girl who'd illustrated graphic novels on cybersecurity paranoia. The secrets spilled like cheap bourbon, offshore accounts siphoning client cash, not just for coke, but for a slush fund propping up her philanthropy facade, donations to women's shelters that never materialized, laundered through fake NGOs. And the affair? Plural. Tom's boss was appetizer. Post-divorce. She'd bedded half the partners, trading blowjobs for promotions. One email chain gutted me, her laughing to a lover about framing D for the checks. Stupid kid took the hit. Kept my nose clean. That bounce check? It wasn't a one-off. She'd forged my signature on 3, tanking my credit, blocking loans for my art studio dream. I'd suffered for her crimes, eaten the blame while she climbed. Power surged through me like Red Bull and spite. First target, her inner circle. I scheduled girls' night with her frenemies, Park Avenue wives who'd whispered about her desperation since the divorce. Over Cosmos at the Polo Bar, I confessed as Emily, the embezzlement, the affairs, how she'd gaslit me, Diana, into silence. I pushed her too far. I slurred, tears engineered from onions in my clutch. She warned Tom,
And I
blamed her to save face. Jaws dropped, phones buzzed with texts to their husbands. Emily's network fraying like cheap stockings. Emily, trapped in my body, was unraveling. She texted from my Brooklyn hole, "Stop this. Mom's asking questions. Give it back." I replied with a selfie, me and her body, lounging in her clawfoot tub. Earn it, sis. Confess at the next family brunch. She didn't. Instead, she showed up at Goldman's lobby, demanding to see herself. Security, tipped by my anonymous memo, escorted Diana out as a disturbed relative. Controversial? Hell yes. Watching her sob in my threadbare jeans, escorted like trash, twisted something dark in me. Was this justice or just sadism? America's underbelly whispered both were the same. The tension coiled tighter when Mark reached out.
À Coffee at Le Pain Quotidien.
Neutral ground. He slid into the booth, eyes haunted. Emily, what the hell's going on? Diana's acting possessed, ranting about swaps. Showing up at her office. I sip my latte, her manicure tapping the saucer. Mark, baby, it's complicated. Dee's always been unstable. The wedding. I was protecting you, lie layered on lie. But I laced it with truth. She did warn Tom. But I deserved it. I cheated. Embezzled. Dragged her down with me. His face, God. I'd missed that jawline, softened, then hardened. Why tell me now? Because in her body, I could touch his hand, feel the spark reignite. Redemption, I murmured, leaning in. Controversial decision number 1. That night, in her Tribeca bed, I slept with him. Not as Diana, but as Emily, her silk sheets tangling around us, her perfume masking my guilt. It was revenge porn for the soul, taking back what she torched, but in the stolen skin that repulsed him. He whispered her name, my name now, moaning apologies for doubting me. I came undone, tears mixing with sweat, hating how good the betrayal tasted. Word spread like wildfire in a dry Hampton summer. Tom's lawyer called, sniffing blood, old divorce settlement ripe for reopening. Emily's board whispered of audits, her sick days as excuses wore thin. She cornered me at Mom's next dinner, pulling me into the pantry amid clinking crystal. In my body, she looked frail, my artsy tattoos stark against pale skin. You're destroying everything. The swap, I didn't mean for this. The doctor said it was reversible. With time.
Lie.
I'd bribed the neuro guy, Fusion was 90% locked. But her eyes darted, guilty. What if I confess? The affairs. The money. Let me fix it.
Tempting. But no.
Too late.
The.
You ruined my wedding. Blamed me for your mess. Now watch yours burn. I shoved past, rejoining the table with Emily's poise. That night, I escalated. Anonymous tip to the SEC. Routing her slush fund trails through blockchain traces I'd illustrated into oblivion. Controversial? Snitching on blood. Even tainted blood. Felt like treason to the sister code. But America's justice was pay to play. Emily had played dirty. So I'd rigged the game. The climax brewed at our family's annual Labor Day bash in the Hamptons. The McMansion overlooked the Atlantic, waves crashing like accusations.
Mom.
Silver-streaked and scotch-loose. Cornered me by the infinity pool. Emily, what's with you and Dee?
She's
different. Accusing you of God knows what. I swirled my Chardonnay. Sunset gilding her face. Mom, remember Dad's debts? How am I covered them by? Creative accounting. Her eyes widened. I'd planted seeds via drunk voicemails. Guests milled old money. New scandals. Mark arrived solo. Our night a secret simmer. Emily slunk in late. My body drowning in one of her cast-offs. Eyes wild. She grabbed my arm by the fire pit. Sparks flying like our tempers. End this. I know about Mark. You're fucking him in my body? That's sick. I wrenched free. Voice a whip. Sick? You framed me for felonies. Torched my vows. This is tit for tat. Voices turned. Mom hovered. Sensing storm. Then the call. SEC agents at the gate. Warrants flashing. Emily's empire teetered. Raids on her office. Freezes on accounts. She crumpled, my body folding like wet paper. Please, she begged. As agents cuffed her wrists, my wrists. It was me. All of it. But in that moment, staring at her broken reflection, doubt flickered. Had I pushed too far? The family watched, divided, Mom torn. Mark stepping forward like a shield. As they led her away, sirens wailing into the dusk. I whispered, one more truth.
Sis.
And then maybe mercy. The fallout hit like a nor'easter. Winds howling off the Atlantic as I paced Emily's, no. My Hamptons deck. Phone glued to my ear. SEC interrogators grilled Diana in a holding cell downtown. Her pleas bouncing off stone walls. It wasn't me. My sisters possessed, swapped souls, or some shit. They laughed it off as delusion. Stress from the family feud. But the evidence I'd curated stuck. Wire transfers, forged docs, even a hidden cam in her office I'd discovered. Me. Filming her shredding papers. Controversial pinnacle. I'd planted that cam myself. Nights ago. Staging the trap. Was it entrapment or exposure? In America's cutthroat courts. Lines blurred like cheap ink. Mom called at dawn. Voice raw from crying jags. Emily, what have you done? Diana's raving about body switching, like that movie with the Freaky Friday crap. And the money. Dad's ghost is laughing. I drove back to the city. Her Tesla hugging the curves. Radio droning NPR scandals that paled next to ours. At Rikers, visitation through plexiglass. Her in orange jumpsuit clashing with my tattoos. Emily pressed her, my palm to the divider. The truth. I did it all. But the swap? Not accident. I researched it, that neurodoc. He's a quack I paid. Experimental therapy for trauma bonding. Pushed you knowing the risk. Wanted you to feel my pain. Trapped in mediocrity. Her confession landed like a gut punch. Not just betrayal, calculated cruelty. She'd orchestrated the fall. Gambled on science's edge to imprison me in her gilded cage. Rage boiled. But pity slithered in.
Why? Ink?
The affairs. The theft I covered for you. Took the blame for Dad's checks. 2. Her laugh. Bitter through static. Because you're the good one.
D.
Always saving us. I hated it. Wanted you broken. So I'd shine alone. Monster unmasked. But human, cracked by her own ambition. America's dream devouring its dreamers. I walked out into the drizzle. Mark waiting in his truck. Your call, he said, handing me coffee black. Like my mood. We'd been stealing nights. His touch a lifeline in this stolen shell.
But now?
She planned it. Mark. The swap. To punish me for existing. He pulled me close. Emily's perfume mingling with his cologne. Then end it. Turn state's evidence. Get your life back. My life, frail, artistic, unmoored. Hers, powerful, poisonous, but potent. Controversial crux, stay or swap back. Docs whispered of a risky reversal, brain zap. 50-50 odds of frying us both. The family powwow sealed it. Mom's brownstone. Air thick with takeout lo mein and regret. Uncles.
Aunts.
Cousins crammed in. Eyes darting like at a mafia sit-down. Emily joined via video from jail. Pixelated and penitent. I ruined us, she croaked. Blamed D for my divorce. Truth? I embezzled to hide the coke. The flings. She took the fall for the forgeries. Kept me out of juvie back then. Wedding? Payback for her sabotage, that wasn't. Gasps. Nods. Puzzle pieces slotting. I'd leaked Doc's pre-bash. Priming them. Mom wept. Clutching Dad's old photo. Sisters. Blood. But eyes turned to me. Emily's throne usurped. What now? Uncle Ray barked. Ex-cop with a nose for lies. I stood. Her height commanding the room.
Now.
Truth wins. Diana, in Emily's body. Dismantle the rest. But she gets the plea. Confess full. Serve light. Reversal surgery. If it works. Murmurs rippled. Forgiveness or foolhardy. Mark squeezed my hand. Sarah. Via Zoom. Hooped boss bitch. Surgery day dawned gray at Columbia Presbyterian. Or sterile as a confessional. Strapped down. Emily's body humming with pre-op drugs. I locked eyes with her. Me. Across the gurney. If I die, she whispered. Tell Mom I loved her mess. If I do, I shot back. Rot in my skin. The anesthesiologist counted backward. Darkness claiming us both. Twist loomed in the ether. What if fusion held? Minds merged? Whose I emerged? I woke first. Monitors beeping triumph. Mirror confirmed. Diana's face freckles. Crooked smile. Artist scars. Emily stirred opposite. Her features slack with relief.
It's
over? Docs nodded. Charts aglow. But the real flip crashed via email. Pinging my new phone. Forensic audit from the SEC. Not just her slush fund, ours. Dad hadn't bankrupted us. Emily had siphoned his investments as teen, framing him for fraud. He'd drunk himself dead over it. Innocent. And me? I'd warned Tom not for meddling, but because Emily confessed to me pre-affair, begging cover. I'd refused. He dug. Found the embezzlement. Her divorce? My mercy misfired. The family reconvened, post-op haze lifting like fog off the Hudson. Emily, cuffed but composed, spilled. Dad was clean. I stole to chase the high life. Blamed him. Dee knew. Tried to stop me with Tom. I twisted it. Mom collapsed, wailing for ghosts. Uncles roared for disownment. Cousins split. Blood or betrayal. Mark pulled me aside. Marry me still? Or was that her life you wanted? I laughed.
Raw. Ours.
But first, justice. Ending? Debatable as a Supreme Court leak. Emily plea bargained. 5 years. Emerging to a fractured family, moms will split. Her shares mine. We rebuilt. Sisters scarred but stitched. My wedding small in Central Park. Rain be damned. Mark's vows. To the woman who fought back. But whispers lingered. Did I enjoy her power too much? Would she strike again? Revenge's aftertaste is ash. But in America's grind, it's the spark that forges steel. Or breaks it. You decide.